rained from the shattered diplomatic ship. The crash had broken the silence of the barren world, sending smoke into the air and scattering debris across rocky ground. Cole, the only surviving human from the crash, pulled himself from a pile of broken metal. His suit was torn at the side and blood trickled from his forehead. The oxygen alert in his helmet blinked yellow, not deadly yet, but urgent. He coughed hard and stood up, blinking against the smoke. The land around him was unfamiliar, harsh, and cold. It was a place between borders. No one ruled here, a dead zone. No cities, no law. Only wild terrain and forgotten history. Cole's mission had been simple: attend the first peace meeting between humans and the Vulpine Empire. But now, all that remained was wreckage. As he moved through the twisted remains of the ship, he searched for supplies, anything to help him survive. Then he heard something. Faint breathing. He turned sharply, his hand going to the sidearm at his belt. A few steps forward behind a broken support beam, he found her, a Vulpine. She was lying on her side, armor cracked and one leg clearly broken. Her silver fur was stained with blood, and her long ears twitched as she tried to stay conscious. Her tail lay limp, and her eyes, sharp and golden, met his with confusion and pain. Cole stared. She wasn't just any Vulpine. He recognized her from the briefing before the mission. Her name was Princess Sierra of the Crescent House, heir to one of the most powerful royal families in the Vulpine Empire. She was alive, but barely. Help. Me? Her voice was weak, more a breath than a word. Cole hesitated. Vulpines were proud and strong, and according to the files, they never helped the wounded. Their culture respected strength above all. If a soldier or even a royal fell in battle, they were expected to die with pride. She must have known that. She must have known no one was coming for her. Still, Cole didn't move. He looked at the blood dripping from her side. Her armor was pressed against an open wire, an exposed electrical source. It was a miracle she hadn't been fried. He dropped to one knee and gently reached toward her. "Don't touch me," she growled, trying to lift her hand in defense, but it fell. "You'll die if you stay here," he said. His voice was calm. He had no time to argue with pride. "Your people are gone." "My guards, they left?" He nodded slowly. "You're the only one I found alive." Her eyes blinked once. She tried to sit up, but a cry of pain stopped her. Without waiting for permission, Cole wrapped her in a thermal blanket and lifted her carefully. She was light, but the suit made her hard to carry. He gritted his teeth and pushed forward. The moon's landscape stretched before him, jagged hills, poisonous valleys, and long shadowed cracks in the ground. The nearest beacon station was several kilometers away, past unstable terrain. The cold wind cut through the air, whistling like a warning. Still he moved. Sierra remained silent most of the time, only wincing when the pain became too much. She didn't thank him, didn't ask questions. She simply looked away, ashamed. An hour later, the sun vanished behind black clouds. The land grew colder, and the wind sharper. Cole found a shallow cave in the side of a rock formation and lowered her gently to the ground. He checked her leg. It was swelling badly. She would not walk on it for days. "I need to make a fire," he said. "The nights here are colder than you think." "You shouldn't be helping me," she said suddenly, her voice stronger now. "I'm Vulpine. You're human. And I am broken." "Is that what your people call it?" he asked. She looked at him with a mix of confusion and anger. "When a warrior can't fight, we are no longer useful." Cole didn't reply at first. He set up a small camp using survival kits from his crash bag. As he lit a controlled flame, he looked her way and spoke softly. "Where I come from, we don't abandon people just because they're hurt." She scoffed. "That's why you're weak." "Is that what you really think?" he asked, his eyes meeting hers. "Because I'm starting to think that's why your people are losing." Silence filled the cave. The fire flickered softly, casting long shadows against the stone walls. Sira closed her eyes. For a moment she looked less like a proud alien warrior and more like a tired soul clinging to life. Outside, strange howls echoed in the distance. Cole stood, his hand going to his sidearm. The sound came again, closer this time. "What is that?" she asked. "Not sure," he said. "But it's hunting." He moved to the entrance of the cave, crouching low. His eyes scanned the shadows. Movement. Quick. Low to the ground. Four-legged. Fast. A creature leapt toward the cave. Cole fired 3 shots, each one hitting the beast in the chest. It dropped to the ground, twitching. Behind it, more movement. 2 more. Then silence. Cole dragged the body inside and shut the cave's entrance with metal panels from his kit. He set alarms. He stayed alert. Sira watched from behind, her face unreadable. "You risked your life," she said. "For me?" "Yes," Cole answered simply. "Because I'm not like you." She didn't argue. Not this time. Instead, she whispered, something in her own language, a prayer maybe, or a memory. Then quietly she said, "Maybe. That's not a bad thing." Gray light. The night had passed, but something was wrong. The air was thicker, heavy. A dense fog had settled outside, so thick he couldn't see the rocks just 10 steps away. His visor beeped in warning. Air quality low. The fog wasn't just mist. It was toxic. He turned toward Sira, who was awake and leaning against the cave wall. Her breathing was still slow and she looked pale, but her sharp eyes watched him. "What is it?" she asked weakly. "Toxic fog," he replied. "We can't stay too long. It burns skin. Even through suits, it weakens the body." Sira tried to move her leg but winced. "Then leave me, go. Save yourself." Cole didn't answer her. He was already preparing the gear. He attached filters to their masks, wrapped Sira in another layer, and adjusted her position to carry her again. She protested, but not with real strength. "You're too heavy," he joked lightly. "Maybe next time don't wear royal armor." "Maybe next time." "Don't crash your ship," she replied, surprising him. He smiled faintly. Her spirit wasn't gone. That was good. With one arm supporting her weight and the other carrying his weapon, Cole stepped into the fog. Every breath was filtered, but still felt thick. The ground disappeared beneath the gray mist, and strange shadows moved at the edges of his vision. Sira clung to him slightly now, no longer fighting his help. They moved carefully across uneven land, sharp rocks, sudden drops, and patches of glowing moss that hissed when touched. The path was dangerous, but Cole remembered a satellite map from his earlier mission brief. If he was right, they were half a day's walk from a downed emergency beacon tower. If it still worked, they could call for help. But the fog made time feel strange. Every step felt longer, every sound echoed. Then came a new sound, low growling. Cole stopped. It came again, closer. Then another sound, a snarl from the other side. Sira tensed. "They're following us." "Creatures?" he asked. She nodded. "Pack hunters. They love fog. They wait until prey is blind. Then they strike from every side." "How many?" "Could be 4. Could be 10. Cole didn't panic. He knelt low behind a boulder, placing Sira in the safest spot he could find. He scanned the area and saw faint shapes. Too fast to shoot. He set up a small trap, a flash grenade tied to a motion sensor. It wouldn't kill, but it would buy time. One beast lunged from the side. Cole fired, but the shot missed. Another came from the front. He struck it with the butt of his rifle, sending it tumbling. The flash grenade went off, bright and loud. The fog turned white. The beasts howled, backing off for a moment. Cole pulled Sira back into his arms and moved faster. His legs burned and the air felt like poison in his lungs. Still, he didn't stop. Sira whispered something. At first, he thought it was fear, but then he realized she was speaking to herself in her native tongue. A poem? A chant? "I thought your people don't pray," he said through gritted teeth. "We don't." I'm not like the others, she said softly. He glanced at her, and for the first time, saw something different in her expression. Not pride, not coldness. Respect. They moved higher up a ridge where the fog was thinner. Cole spotted a rusted structure through the gray, the beacon tower. It was old, broken from the crash of another ship long ago, but the signal panel looked intact. He set Sierra down gently against the wall and rushed to the panel. It was dead but not hopeless. The solar cells were dusty. He wiped them clean. Still nothing. Then he remembered. Manual charge port. He pulled out a power cell from his survival pack and connected it. The light blinked once, then again, then stayed green. Signal. Sent, he breathed. A loud howl behind him made his blood freeze. The beasts had followed. They had waited. Now they were climbing the rocks. Cole aimed his rifle and fired a warning shot. One beast dropped, but two more came. Sierra tried to rise, her hand reaching for a sharp piece of broken metal. You can't fight. Stay down, he said quickly. She ignored him and dragged herself to the edge, slashing at a beast that came too close. It yelped and retreated. Her hands bled. Another beast leaped, knocking Cole backward. The rifle slid from his hands. Teeth snapped near. His face, he punched it hard once, twice. Blood sprayed. His or the beast's, he didn't know. Finally, it fell. He crawled to his rifle, aimed at the last two creatures, and fired. The fog echoed with their cries as they fled into the mist. Silence. Cole collapsed to one knee, breathing hard. Sierra looked at him, her eyes wide. You fought like one of us. He chuckled tiredly. I thought I was weak. She looked away. So did I. He checked the beacon. It was still sending. Rescue could take hours, maybe longer. They sat side by side against the beacon tower. The fog began to thin as the sun moved higher. Sierra leaned her head back. I was taught that weakness is shame, that those who can't walk don't deserve to be carried. And now? Cole asked. She didn't answer for a while. Then she said quietly, Now I think. Maybe strength is helping, even when you could walk away. Cole nodded. Then I hope more of your people learn that too. She closed her eyes, not to sleep, but to rest in peace for the first time since the crash, and in that quiet moment, while danger still lurked beyond the mist, something new formed between them. Not alliance, not yet friendship, but understanding. Orange light across the broken land. The fog had finally cleared, but a new challenge waited ahead. Cole checked the rescue beacon. The green light still blinked, but no reply had come. He had hoped help would arrive quickly, but now he wasn't sure. He couldn't risk staying in one place too long. Not here. He looked at Sierra. She was awake, watching him silently. Still no signal from your people? She asked, voice dry. He shook his head. No human ship nearby either. Looks like we're on our own for now. She nodded slowly. Then we move. Cole looked surprised. You sure? You haven't walked in 2 days. I still can't. But if I stay still, I die. If I move, I might live. I'll take the second option. He smiled slightly. That was the Vulpine spirit, strong and sharp. But he knew she couldn't take more than a few steps on that broken leg. So he adjusted the harness again and helped her onto his back. You've carried me far, she said softly. You shouldn't have. And yet I did, Cole replied, beginning to walk again. The terrain ahead was strange. Fields of black, cracked soil that hissed and steamed in the heat. The surface was laced with a strange green glow. Cole knew what it was. Poison ground, he muttered. Radiation under the surface. We'll have to go around. That will take too long, Sierra warned. We'll run out of food and power. Then we'll go over it carefully. He tore strips from a piece of wreckage and wrapped them around his boots. He did the same for her, protecting their feet as best he could. They began the crossing. Every step released soft gas from under the ground. It made Cole's eyes water and his skin itch. Sierra coughed quietly, her body growing weaker, but he didn't stop. Hours passed. The black ground stretched farther than expected. The heat made breathing harder. They paused only once, drinking a small amount of filtered water. Sierra spoke again. "You know, I was supposed to be leading this peace talk. My father didn't want to send me. Said humans were too unpredictable." Cole chuckled. "That's one way to say we don't follow your rules. I see now that your kind values something we have forgotten." He looked over his shoulder. "What's that?" "Mercy." They continued forward. Suddenly, a loud crack came from under Cole's foot. The ground collapsed. He shouted as he fell into a pit, taking Sierra with him. Dust filled the air. His ears rang. He groaned, blinking through the dust cloud. Sierra was under him, coughing. They were inside a large underground tunnel, with old, broken walls made of alien metal. Strange symbols covered the surfaces. "What is this place?" Cole asked, pulling her up gently. Sierra looked around with wide eyes. "An ancient road. Before my people ruled this region, other species built underground paths to escape the surface. Heat. Is it safe?" "Not really, but if it runs the right direction, it might cut our travel time in half." Cole helped her lean against the tunnel wall while he searched the area. There were pieces of metal, shattered machines, and bones. Some Vulpine, others unrecognizable. "It looks abandoned," he said. Sierra nodded. "But that doesn't mean it's empty." They decided to move through the tunnel. It was cooler than the outside, but dark and full of echoes. Cole used his helmet light to guide them. The air was thick, but not deadly. As they moved forward, Sierra spoke again. "Back when I was in training, I watched a soldier die. He was injured during battle drills. The others left him. That was normal for us." "I did too." Cole said nothing. "I still remember his face. He was afraid. But he didn't beg. He just watched us go." "That must have stayed with you," Cole said softly. She nodded. "Yes, but I didn't understand why. Until you carried me." The tunnel curved upward. Cole was about to respond when he heard something, a clicking sound, repeated, metallic. He turned off his helmet light and crouched, holding Sierra close. The sound grew louder. From the shadows, a tall creature appeared, mechanical and thin, with legs like spears and a glowing red eye. It was a leftover guardian, an ancient defense unit left to patrol the tunnel. It scanned the darkness, searching for movement. "Don't move," Cole whispered. The machine stepped closer. Then, suddenly, a spark came from its side. It twitched and froze for a second. That was the moment Cole needed. He placed Sierra down gently, grabbed a sharp metal pipe from the floor, and charged. He struck the machine's joint, breaking it. The guardian turned, slashing with a blade. Cole ducked and hit again, this time at the glowing core. It exploded with a loud pop, and the machine fell, sparking. He returned to Sierra, breathing hard. "You didn't have to do that," she said. "Yes, I did." They moved again. Finally, after hours underground, the tunnel opened up into the side of a cliff. Fresh air poured in, and far across the valley, Cole saw a new hope. A small outpost station. A backup site used by early explorers. If it still worked, they could call for rescue. "We're close," he said, pointing. Sierra looked out. "That's Vulpine tech. We can send a royal code." As he prepared to descend the cliffside, Sierra touched his arm. "If we reach that outpost, and if my people come, they will ask why you didn't leave me behind." Cole gave a small smile. "Tell them I saw something they didn't." "What's that?" He looked into her eyes. "A life worth saving." Deep valley below. The air was thinner here, cooler, and the sky above them had cleared. Far across the valley, on a steep hill, stood the small outpost, a silver building, half buried in rock. It was old, but still had power. Lights blinked faintly on its antenna. "That's our way out," Cole said quietly. Sierra, lying on a soft patch of moss, nodded. My royal code will open the signal panel. If it still works, my people will hear us. Cole tightened the straps of the harness. We just need to get across this valley. Shouldn't be too bad. Sira raised a brow. You see that narrow bridge? Cole followed her gaze. A thin metallic bridge stretched across the chasm. It was old, rusted, and clearly unstable. One wrong step, and they would fall into the rocky darkness below. That's our only option? He asked. Yes, she said, unless you can fly. Cole exhaled slowly. He knew it would be dangerous, but he had come too far to stop now. He lifted Sira onto his back again, her body lighter than ever. She had barely eaten in days. Her breathing was slow, but steady. Step by step, he walked toward the bridge. As they reached it, the metal groaned under their weight. Wind pushed at them from the sides. Cole moved carefully, holding a rope in one hand to steady himself. Every few steps he tested the surface before placing his foot down. Behind him, Sira whispered, "Why do you keep doing this?" He didn't answer at first. The bridge creaked beneath him. Then he said, "Because no one should be left behind." The words were simple, but they hit something deep inside her. She looked down into the darkness and thought about the others who had left her without a second thought. The elite guards, her own cousin who led them, they all turned away as soon as she fell. But this human, someone her kind called lesser, carried her through death itself. Halfway across, the wind picked up. The bridge shook. Suddenly, a section of metal gave way behind them with a loud snap. The bridge tilted. Cole lost his balance but dropped low, hugging the metal surface. Sira tightened her grip around him, eyes wide. They were stuck. The bridge would not last. "We can't turn back," Cole said. "We run." "With me on your back?" she asked. "We don't have a choice." He stood again, feet slipping slightly, on the shaking metal. Then he ran, fast and focused. The bridge shifted beneath him and more pieces snapped off, falling into the dark below. With one final jump, he leapt off the edge and rolled onto solid ground. The bridge behind him collapsed. Completely. They had made it. Both lay on the rocky surface, breathing heavily. Sira looked up at the outpost just a few meters away. "You're insane," she said. "I've heard that before," Cole replied with a small smile. They moved to the building. The door was locked, but Sira placed her hand on the scanner and spoke in her native language. The door hissed open. Inside, the air was clean and lights flickered on slowly. The main console sat in the center of the room, covered in dust but still functional. Sira sat beside it, her hand shaking. Cole stood beside her. "Can you send the signal?" She nodded and began entering her code. A small humming sound filled the air, followed by a blinking red light on the panel. "Signal active," she said. "They'll hear it." Cole let out a deep breath and sat beside her. Minutes passed. Then the console beeped. A voice came through the speaker, cold, sharp, and familiar. "This is Commander Valen of House Crescent. We received your signal. Confirm identity. Sira." Answered, "This is Princess Sira. I'm alive. Injured but safe. I request immediate rescue." A pause. Then the voice replied, "Understood. Rescue ship en route. Estimated arrival, 3 hours." Cole nodded. "We did it." But Sira didn't smile. Her face was pale. "What's wrong?" Cole asked. "That voice," she whispered. "Commander Valen is my cousin. The one who left me behind." Before Cole could respond, another voice cut in, this time private, directed only to her. "Why didn't you die, cousin? Now I must finish the task myself." Her eyes widened. Cole saw the fear on her face. "What did he say?" "He's coming," she said. "Not to rescue, to erase me." Cole stood up immediately. "Then we have 3 hours to prepare." Sira tried to rise but groaned in pain. "You should run. If they find you helping me, they'll kill you too." Cole shook his head. "I'm not leaving you." He began searching the room. There were emergency weapons, old blasters, energy grenades, and armor pieces. He grabbed what he could. Sirah looked at him with a strange emotion, part sadness, part awe. You keep risking your life for someone you barely know. I know enough, he replied. I know you didn't deserve to be left behind. Hours passed. They reinforced the doors. Cole placed traps outside and kept his weapon ready. Finally, a small Vulpine ship arrived in the distance. It landed, silently near the outpost. From its belly, 3 soldiers stepped out, followed by Commander Valen. He was tall, with dark silver fur and piercing red eyes. He carried no weapon but moved with confidence. Cole aimed from the window. They're here. Sirah pressed a button, opening the speaker to the outside. Valen, she said, this isn't the way. His voice came through the intercom. You were supposed to die. If you live, our people will question us. You are weak. She is not weak, Cole shouted through the speaker. Valen's eyes narrowed. A human dares to speak for her. I carried her across poisoned land, fought beasts in fog, and crossed a falling bridge to save her. Where were you? Valen raised a hand. His soldiers began to move toward the door. Cole turned to Sirah. We stand. Together? She nodded firmly. Yes. As the soldiers approached, the traps activated. Explosions rocked the ground. One soldier fell. Cole fired from the window, taking down another. Valen shouted, Stop this madness! Sirah's voice rang out. This is no madness. This is truth. She pressed a final button, broadcasting their entire conversation across the Vulpine Royal network. Every word was sent live. Cole looked at her. What did you do? I gave my people something they need, she said. The truth. Outside, the Vulpine soldiers were trapped by the explosions and barricades Cole had prepared. Commander Valen stood at the doorway, eyes burning with anger and disbelief. You betrayed your own blood, Sirah. Valen hissed through the speaker system. Sirah met his gaze without fear. I betrayed a system built on fear and weakness. You left me to die because I was hurt. That is the real betrayal. Cole tightened his grip on his rifle and stood beside her. You wanted her dead because she was wounded. I wanted her alive because every life matters. Valen's face twisted in rage. You humans are soft. You don't understand strength. That's where you're wrong, Cole said firmly. Strength is in protecting those who cannot protect themselves. That is true courage. Suddenly, the door burst open. The remaining soldiers charged inside, but Cole and Sirah were ready. Cole fired a warning shot into the ceiling. Stop. There's a live broadcast happening. Every word you say will be heard across the Empire. The soldiers hesitated, looking at each other uncertainly. Sirah raised her voice. To all who watch, I am Princess Sirah. I survived because a human believed in mercy. Because one human risked everything to save me. She paused, letting her words sink in. Our empire is strong because we are proud, but pride without compassion will lead us to ruin. We must change. The soldiers lowered their weapons, faces shifting from anger to confusion. Valen's eyes darted around. This is treason. No, Sirah replied. This is truth. The broadcast reached far beyond the outpost, spreading across Vulpine networks. The royal families and common citizens alike heard the story of a human's bravery and a princess's survival against all odds. Hours later, rescue ships arrived. Human and Vulpine medics rushed to the outpost. Cole's wounds were treated and Sirah's broken leg was carefully set. As she recovered, Sirah spent hours talking with Cole. She shared stories of her childhood, her people's traditions, and the harsh rules that ruled them. Cole listened, amazed by the strength behind her words. You changed me, she said quietly one evening. You showed me what true strength means. And you showed me what hope can look like, Cole replied. The Vulpine Empire began to shift. Leaders who once turned away from the weak now called for mercy and cooperation with humans. Sirah's message echoed through their halls, changing hearts and minds. On the day Sirah was cleared to leave the outpost, she stood beside Cole on the landing platform. The sun was rising again, casting warm light over the valley. "I owe you everything," she said softly. "You saved yourself too," Cole smiled. She looked out at the horizon. "Maybe the future of my people isn't to abandon the weak but to carry them. Like you carried me." Cole nodded. "Maybe the future of all species depends on that." As the rescue ship lifted into the sky, Cole watched with pride. The human, who carried a wounded princess across deadly land, had not only saved a life but had changed a world. And somewhere deep in the stars, a new legend was born. A story of mercy, courage, and the true meaning of strength.